MotorWeek is made possible by Rock Auto, Tire Rack, and Die Hard.
Ford brought out these little 2- and 4-door hatchbacks out in 1981, and everybody liked them, except the motoring press. They thought it was a pale copy of its European brethren. It just didn't handle or go as well as it should. Of course, the Escort became the best-selling car line in America, but Ford decided not to sit on those laurels. Enter the Escort GT, the closest thing to high-performance econo-box that our #2 automaker could cost-consciously devise. Was it worth the effort? Should the average Escort buyer care? Let's find out.
Until recently, when Detroit wanted to bring out a sporty version of just about any old car, it was mostly a matter of paint and trim. Well, in the case of the Escort GT, it sure won't be hard picking it out in a crowded parking lot. Aside from some special colors, such as this orange called Bright Bittersweet, a good name for it, there's a lot of European-looking blacked-out rubber and chrome, and a pair of driving lamps. Much like its overseas brother, the Escort XR3, this GT features special lower body moldings and splash skirts which really do keep rocks from chipping the doors. Around back is a functional and smart-looking spoiler that adds a bit of class to the Escort's large glass hatch. The interior includes a racy 4-spoke wheel and sports bucket seats with mesh-type head restraints. They are very comfortable, but the soft fabrics left us wondering about durability. The dash includes an upshift indicator and orange on black gauges that were very readable if incomplete. Except for the engine temperature, other motor functions, amps and oil pressure, were housed down on the shift console. This unit is obviously borrowed from the standard car since the gauges did not match the design of the other instruments. Much better was the sturdy and just right length shift lever connected to a very good 5-speed manual transaxle. Only the absence of a reverse lockout bothered our testers, who sometimes went backwards when looking for first. Interior fit and finish has been improved markedly and includes such oriental touches as dash-mounted nooks for small articles, a remote gas filler release, and this very nice feature, side window levers that open the rear quarter windows. But when Ford now says GT, they mean a lot more than unique paints and spiffy interiors. Now they mean a multi-port, electronically fuel-injected version of their 1.6-liter overhead cam 4. That delivers 82 horsepower, 12 more than the standard engine and 2 more than the non-injected high-output version. And how does all this come together on the road? A whole lot better than before, but not as well as expected. The prototype we drove last year was a lot quicker than this car's 0 to 60 time of 14 seconds. However, that's a second and a half better than the standard car. Power seems to come on late at around 1500 RPM and is gone much above 4000. So starting power is weak and you have to get to second and third quickly. A 500-foot dash of 10 seconds at 54 has to be rated as only average. On the plus side, you can lug the engine in 5th gear all the way down to 30 miles per hour without complaint. And the narrow power range is outstanding for passing. Only 5.2 seconds is needed to spring from 40 to 55 miles per hour. But with a quarter-mile time of 19.5 seconds and a speed of only 72, it's clear that the Escort GT still needs more spirit. For the record, most acceleration times were about 13% slower than a car it will no doubt be compared to, the smaller but friskier Volkswagen Rabbit GTI. But that's not a bad comparison, since in handling, the other half of what we usually call performance, the Escort GT drew nothing but praise. Quick rack and pinion steering connected to a revised TR Performance suspension package and Michelin TRX tires made the Escort almost pure fun to sling around. Flat cornering counters moderate understeer, but it can go quickly to oversteer and to a hanging out of the rear end if you lift the throttle. But there's no sign that control can be lost without really trying. In our handling test, we also became kinder towards available power. It does seem that in most maneuvers, the combination of 88 pounds of torque and stiff struts and shocks makes for a near perfectly balanced Cub racer, right up there with the GTI. Brakes are a combination of power-assisted ventilated front disc and rear drums. They got high marks. Straight stops from 55 averaged only 111 feet after 6 panic stops. There was some brake pad burning, but little lock or fade. But at this point, we have to address the average Escort buyer. You'll find this combination of sporty tires and hard suspension to be very harsh and jarring over all but the smoothest of roads. While drivers with delusions of Le Mans might love it, most folks won't. But to its credit, even after 7,000 of those rough miles, our little Ford had nary a rattle. And further credit should be given to mileage. While the EPA rates the GT at 29 city and 44 highway, you can still expect at least the 35 we recorded over our 100-mile test loop. So all things considered, including a modest base price of $7,239 and our test car at $8,400, the Escort GT does have its niche. And next fall, when a turbocharged Escort makes its way into the rabbit patch, Ford purists might just have Hassenpfeffer for breakfast.